So it looks like he's really struggling with balance.
Well, while we're being treated to a terrific Honda Indy Grand Prix of Alabama, we are being treated in a different way this weekend. We showed you earlier in the show that two-time Formula One world champion and soon-to-be Indy 500 rookie Fernando Alonso is here in Alabama. And even more specifically, he's here as there is a great move there from Max Chilton. Fernando joins us in the NBC Sports booth. Fernando, great to have you. And I know you've been kind of pushed and pulled and asked more questions than maybe in a whole year of Formula One racing. But how's your time been so far in Alabama?
Yeah, so far has been fantastic. And now he's racing. So, yeah, it's even better now when you hear those cars passing around.
And seeing IndyCar, the Verizon IndyCar Series in the flesh for the first time, what are your initial thoughts?
It's fun. It's fun. And a lot of strategy going on. I was following the 28 with Ryan, and yeah, they had a problem, an incident in the first lap, so now they changed the strategy, and you know, they try to figure out how to recover positions. So yeah, quite interesting so far.
Nobody, I don't think there's a better starter than you in Formula One. There's nobody more exciting on the opening lap of a Formula One Grand Prix than you. What did you make of that opening lap here? I mean, Ryan got into Hinchcliffe there. There was contact. There was a little bit of body work flying.
Yeah, it was fun, but yeah, I prefer the starts, you know, from the stopping position, you know, to have a little bit of a play with the clutch. But yeah, I need to get used to the rolling starts, especially in Indy, with many of those happening after the red flag. So
I'll tell you what, the rolling start at Indianapolis is like nothing you'll ever experience. 3 wide, and you come down in front straightaway, turning into turn 1 with all these cars. It's very intense.
I've been watching some of the videos, and yeah, it looks quite a stressful moment of the race. Yeah.
Did anybody mention no power steering in the Indy cars?
Yeah, they mentioned. But
so I don't know if your training regimen. I know it's a lot of sparkling water and salmon, but you might have to bulk up a little bit.
Yeah, I think there are some barbecues programmed on that week.
Paul, people could argue, your fan base could argue, perhaps you won the Indy 500 for a matter of seconds. What advice would you have for Fernando?
I mean, he's going to get a lot of advice. I mean, with Michael, he's probably one of the best ever around Indianapolis that never won the race. But I guess the only advice I could really give to you is just, you got to let the car do the work. You can't get the last 5% by your own driving ability. You have to let the car do the work and kind of just sit back and make the little small adjustments that let the car do all the work. On a road course, like, get the car good, and then the last 5-6% comes from your ability. And you can't really do that on an oval.
Yeah, so far, you know, they've been telling me to stay calm, to feel the car, and yeah, to make these little adjustments during the race and throughout the race.
Townsend, he's more current. The last 2-3 miles an hour is not one change, it's 100 little changes.
Yeah. I always equate it to, when every year that I go to Indianapolis, I think to myself, I remind myself, I'm going to go race an airplane, not a car, as a way to coach myself into slowing my inputs down, not necessarily slowing down, but making them even more precise, more subtle, more calculated. The last 10 laps of that race, though, it's a car race.
Yeah, you forget everything.
You're up in the seat, and it's amazing, and it's the biggest, in my opinion. I think for you too, that's why you're going. It's one of the best in the world.
Definitely.
Fernando, earlier today you met with the media, and the 3 of us were in the room as well, and you were very gracious, answering as many questions as you did. But something that struck all of us, just the sentiment that you have about the project. Everybody's talking about leaving Monaco, not competing in Monaco, and being an IndyCar rookie, never being on Noble. But something really resonated with all of us. You spoke about the passion and enjoying the moment. That's why you want to do it, to enjoy it. That's so important. And some might argue that's easy for you to say because you've gone to the top of the mountain. You're a 2-time world champion. But tell us more about that and the enjoyment factor and the drive to do it.
Well, I think Indy 500 is probably the most, you know, or the biggest race in the world. So, you know, to be able to participate on that race is just something very unique, you know, and I feel very privileged to do so. And yeah, secondly, as you said, you know, I achieved, you know, a few things in Formula One, and now it's time to keep improving and to grow up as a driver, you know, and to be a more complete driver. I need to be able to drive in super speedways. I need to be able to drive in other series with other cars, with other people, and, you know, the best place in the world will be Indy 500.
Out on the track, Will Power still leads by 2.2 seconds. If you've just turned on, that was the voice of Fernando Alonso. He's going to stick around in the NBC Sports booth just for a little bit. Fernando, I don't expect you to respond to this, but I met a young kid earlier out by our stage for the pre-race show, and he came up and he wanted to show me. He was a 10-year-old boy, and he opened up an autograph book, and he said, "That's Fernando Alonso's signature." And you made a young boy's day. You made his year. You made his life. Pretty special having Fernando Alonso, two-time Formula One world champion, here at the Barber Motorsports Park. And he'll stick around to watch Will Power. That's what Fernando's day has been like so far. A whole lot of that. And he's on a really good run. We want to show you something special involving Conor Daly and Fernando Alonso. That's Conor as a 12-year-old boy at the US Grand Prix at Indy. Conor's now 25-year-old Fernando. Not trying to make you feel old or anything, but time has passed us all by.
Well, yeah, I saw that picture on Twitter.
You did?
Yeah, and yes, long time ago, and yeah, I feel a little bit old.
Do you remember who his dad is? Do you know who his dad is? So
yeah,
Derek Daly, who also did Formula One and the Indy 500. So there's a nice tie in there as Alexander Rossi is in.
Yeah, Fernando knows Alexander Rossi, a friend of his from the Formula One days, coming down pit road. Impressive so far today. He's gained 11 spots. He is in 7th position as he comes down pit road. They're going to put on scuffed black tires here. They asked him on the radio a moment ago. Rob Edwards said, if you make a bar change inside the car, is that enough to adjust for the blacks? He said, yes, I think it is. 9-7, a little longer on that stop for Rossi, Lee.
Fernando, what do you think about when you look at these IndyCar pit stops, so different than what you're used to? Any early thoughts?
Yeah, well, I think there are some differences. Obviously, we are doing the pit stops now in 2 seconds. So we have like 23 people around the car when we do the pit stops. So yeah, it's quite different, but yeah, here is.
You could have a light lunch in the time it takes.
Here I need to get used to. Yeah,
when
definitely.
you sat in the car today, we had some footage that you sat in Marco's car. Was the cockpit? How does the cockpit feel? Is it much different than a Formula One car? Was Marco's seat close for you?
Not so close. I think all the seats are very unique, so you know I need to make a lot of adjustments and a completely new seat. But yeah, the cockpit felt good, felt a little bit bigger than what we have also, and especially the vision from inside the cockpit. You see much more here. I think in Formula One, you know, the aerodynamic complexity makes the cockpit and the vision forward quite difficult and quite tight. So here it seems a little bit better, easier.
What about the anti-roll bar levers? That's something you don't have.
Yeah, we don't have. We don't have. We have everything on the steering wheel, and here you have everything around the cockpit. So yeah, things that definitely in the next 2 weeks I need to get up to speed.
Well, you're looking at an Indy 500 champion here, Fernando. Scott Dixon, he's a 4-time IndyCar Series champion, and briefly there he tested for Williams as well. Whether there was any avenue to go on to Formula One, but this guy has made a very, very successful career here. In fact, he's in the top 5 best IndyCar drivers of all time, and the reason why we're seeing that confirmed again, reaffirmed, is that he has taken chunks of time out of Joseph Newgarden all day long. Fernando, we have noticed, we have seen week in, week out, the frustrations with the McLaren Honda on the Formula One side of things. Last weekend in Bahrain, you were scrapping with Jolyon Palmer and Danny Kvyat, and it was really tough. But the way you're driving, the moves you're putting on, how do you rate where you are right now? We've seen quotes, heard you say you feel you're driving the best you are in your career. True?
Yeah, I feel very strong this year. I think with the new cars, with the new regulations, the car feel great this year with the amount of downforce and the preparation we went through. So yeah, we just missing the power. You know, the power unit has been a little bit a problem for us in the last couple of years. So yeah, unfortunately we are not performing at our best, but yeah, I feel very ready and I feel happy with my performance.
In the back of your head, I gotta ask, do you think to yourself, gosh, Monaco, the chassis is good, power not so important there? Do you have any reluctance in coming to do the Indy 500, knowing that's maybe your best chance?
Well, in a way, it was the only race that I was not happy to miss, because it's our best chance to score big points. But I won Monaco a couple of times. I've been competitive there. I won 2 championships, so a 5th place in Monaco, a 3rd place in Monaco, a 4th place in Monaco will not compare to the experience of Indy 500. So yeah, a lot to win and not much to lose.
What's Jenson Button say about coming back for what more than likely will be his final drive ever.
Well, I'm not super excited, to be honest. You know,
Is he in shape?
yeah, he's very, very fit. You know, he's doing triathlons now and, you know, running on the bike a lot. So, yeah, definitely he's very fit, but only one race, knowing that, you know, even we are not super competitive, it's not the dream, you know, for him.
So this guy sitting beside you, Townsend Bell, he was clocked at 239 miles an hour going into turn 1 last year. There's that problem.
Yeah, there was something going on here. They were blowing out the brake dust here. 8.8 seconds stop to Newgarden's 7 second stop. And that was the difference in beating him out of the pits.
Lee, I'm not a stickler for detail, but it was 242.7.
I stole a couple of miles
Makes a
an
lot
hour
of
off
difference inside.
But imagine you're going to turn left at that speed. It's not just in a straight line.
yeah.
What's the maximum speed in Formula One that you see now? 215, 16?
I think it's 378 or something like that, kilometers an hour.
kilometers an hour. So it's over it's high 220s, early 230s at Baku. Remember last year with
Baku
Bottas?
and Mexico as well.
Well, folks, it's been a real treat having the two-time world champion here, Fernando Alonso. He only arrived last night. He had dinner with his Andretti teammates here at the track at Andretti Hospitality, and he has met as many people as he could, answered as many questions as he could, saw the start of the race and taken time to join us. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
This is going to be a really exciting time for you.
See you in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, and have a terrific run.
Thank you.
Fernando Alonso, and we'll get to see him here on NBCSN for the Russian Formula One Grand Prix coming your way from the Sochi Autodrome next Sunday morning at 7 a.m. Eastern. We'll see what Fernando can do in the McLaren Honda. We'll see what he can do next month at the Brickyard.